All right, so welcome back. We're going to give this another shot here. We're starting off with Mary. Mary is a mother-in-law tongue, and that's Mary as in Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas is named for Mary Coop, M-E-R-R-Y, my sister's mother-in-law. My mother-in-law does not have a snake named after her because she doesn't really deserve that, but Mary Coop, she sure does. Up here, you'll probably remember him from last time. We've got Peter Parker, one of many. Over here, we've got Michael Stipe and Natalie Merchant. They're good friends. The Peace Lily here, ride the Peace train, loving that. We've got Kyle down here, just thriving, doing well, pumping out a bunch of babies for us so that we can have more Kyles to brighten our days with her neon pothos self. We've got Hermione down here, just, thriving, doing well. She's got some new growth since she left the office. She seems to be quite happy. Over here, we've got Merida, also doing really well. Merida's climbing everywhere. She's busy. She's like a toddler learning to walk. Climbing all over. Down here, we've got this we've got Joan. Joan's an Arrowhead, and I'll be honest with you, I didn't have a lot of faith in Joan, but Joan's doing really, really well. She's got her back brace on, but she's doing well. A little scoliosis. She's a special friend. We've got, this is our new friend here. I don't know if you've met. This is the Pilea peperomia, or the Pilea peperomia, as I like to call her. Her name is Roz, often called the UFO plant due to the saucer-shaped leaves here. I'm trying to propagate some of her. We'll see what happens. She's got a couple babies in there. She's named after Roswell, landing spot of many a UFO. We've got the three amigos here. We've done some turning around. So Dusty Bottoms is actually doing pretty well, hanging out here on the bottom. Lucky Day is really enjoying his new spot. And Ned Niederlander, he's jumping in. He's a little wonky and wobbly, but he's doing really well. All right, another one of my skateboards from the Fresno Skateboard Salvage Auction from one of the prisoners in Avenel. Very cool. All right, over here, you'll notice Peter Parker's big brother, Phil Spiderman. Phil Spiderman has a lot of babies, and I'm going to leave an empty pot full of soil, so I guess not empty, but a plantless pot full of soil down here, so that these guys can naturally do what they do in the wild and just root themselves. So we'll see how that goes. This is my new friend Vanya. Vanya, named after the white violin in the Umbrella Academy. Vanya is a fiddle leaf fig, and as I'm sure you know because you're an intelligent human, fiddles and violins are actually the same instrument, just played a little bit differently. Please pardon the dirty window, the horrible air quality, and the backlight and the fellas in the backyard tending to some outdoor gardening, which is another conversation for another day. We've got here one of Ponyboy's offspring hanging out in a loincloth, hanging up there. We've got one of our string bikinis featuring Kyle's offspring and looking amazing. This one really exceeded expectations. Down here, we've got a Drew. And Drew has a lot of pride, as does her rainbow string bikini. I also would like you to notice those new amazing ceiling fans. There's another one that you can't see, but believe me, it's there, and I am super excited. Down here, we've got my other mother-in-law tongue. This here is Dolores. Dolores is named after my grandma because, well, it's appropriate. We've got the ball gown, also known as the curtain. It's tied back around the belted waist with a sock. Really high class around here. All right, we've got another loincloth with one of Kyle's offspring doing very well. She's got a neighbor here, my buddy Frank. My buddy Frank, he's a marble queen and plain old philodendron. And you know what? He likes it that way. Got a little bit of everything. A mutt, if you will, or a Frankenstein, as his namesake would denote. We have Carol, and my goodness, Carol's been through it. Carol came to us from Nevada, a cutting from a plant at my mom's, also named Carol. Carol got a little sunburn recently. She spent some time outside, and I don't know, I thought it was curtains for Carol, but she's got some new growth, and she's doing very, very well. She enjoys her new spot here in the sun, protected from the elements. All right, I've got one of Drew's offspring here. We'll check in with Drew in a second. And another one of Pony Boy's offspring, whom we'll check on just in a few here. All right, coming over here to this plant stand that was made by my great-grandpa Crackle back in the 60s for my mother. He was her grandfather-in-law, I suppose, who saw this thing at the Gottschalks and said, I gotta have it. And he said, oh, honey, I can make you one. Not exactly what she was hoping for, but you know, it stuck around for more years than I should say. Up here we've got Jane, the Philodendron Birkin. Jane's got some new growth since we brought her home from Evergreen. She's doing very well. I've got some cuttings rooting here, and if we can get in here really closely, you'll see that we're gonna have some friends ready to plant here in a short time. Got some roots going. All right, down here, I brought this succulent from the kitchen window. I haven't named it because I don't want to get attached. I don't do so well with the suckies, but we're gonna try and see what happens. This marble queen here is from some cuttings at my mom's. We haven't named her yet. She does have a B in here, so it would imply she is Beyonce the queen, but I'm not really committed to that yet. Drew, my good friend Drew over here. We've got another Kyle offspring. We've got some more roots taking place in the Madonna in glass. And I'm going to take you down here to see my good buddy Lloyd. And Lloyd Gardner, this is Lloyd Gardner. Lloyd Gardner was my friend Karis Gardner's dad. And Lloyd, the plant, came from the Walmart in Gardnerville where my mom lives, hence the name. So I'm going to come back up here. I've got another Fresno Skateboard salvage item here. This one made by one of our Fresno Unified Ceramics teachers named Lance Armstrong. Whoa, Lance Anderson, what a dum-dum. Pretty amazing. I'm gonna stick my finger over this on purpose, maybe. I'm gonna move over here to the fireplace, check out the mantle, kind of see what we're working with, kind of step it back a little bit, introduce you to some of my friends that are not really named, but you know, important nonetheless. So this evergreen is from my mom's house. You know, I guess it's doing well. I've got two arrowheads here in the yellow pots, and they're one's much lighter in color, but those came from Walmart, and I was hoping to plant them with my arrowhead Jane down there, but Joan seems to be really enjoying her personal space, so I'm not really sure. The Philodendron Brazil Child, I don't know. It seems to be doing better than I thought, but we'll see how that goes. We've got a Cylindrica Sansevieria here on the left, straight from Amazon. Very interesting package. It has some new growth, which is very cool and exciting. And then this one also came from Walmart. You got to get your stuff where you can. I've got another peperomia down here. Roz over there is a Pilea peperomia. This is a peperomia cupid, and I bought her, who has no name, probably him because baby cupids are boys, but no name yet. Half of it left us to root rot, so hence the grower pot, not really anything fancy and covered. So doing well now. I've got my good buddy Pony Boy. Pony Boy just had a shift. He used to face the other way, so his arms were reaching toward the window for some light, but we're going to try and see if we can copy that on the other side. It's my good buddy Rick. Rick also came from Evergreen, and Rick's been through a lot. I thought Rick would do well outside because I'd heard of them doing so, the Rick Rat cactus. But my patio was too sunny, and I gave it a little too much water, but we're recovering well, and we've got some fresh new growth there. All right, over here I've got Benny, and Benny is a Ficus benjamina from my mom. This is take number 2. The first one didn't fare so well, but like we've talked about before, the ficus are a little bit special friends. And so we'll see if we can make it with this one. I'm crossing my fingers for Benny. All right, we've got a marble queen here named Gary, one of my favorite queens, my mom's cousin, quite the queen. And much like Gary in real life, he's got some struggles, but I think he's gonna pull through. Now we have my 2 asparagus ferns that I saved from the Ace Hardware refuse bin, and well, I don't know, we're gonna see if those hang on. They've been doing all right. Down here we've got Peter Parker. Peter Parker used to live in another spot. Peter Parker's living over here and seemingly enjoying life, doing much better kind of in a little less sun. So I'm gonna take you now over here and I'm gonna introduce you to to my new friends. I'm calling them the orphans for now. They are yet to be named. They have a pretty special place. They are lucky enough to be in a spot with no light and now have their very own light source in the form of this grow light. Now this wall, I am going to tell you, is going to get some pretty cool wallpaper pretty soon. So you may judge away, but do so to yourself, as good friends do, behind my back. I've got my new rubber plant up here on the far left, came from Save Mart. I've got a ZZ plant. My sister's named hers ZZ Top, but I'm not sure that's where I am yet. And she came from Home Depot. This little green and white one, if you've got a name for me, please let me know. It's very similar to the rubber plant in many ways, but I don't know what it is. And this interesting critter who I saw said, huh, that's interesting. And then decided I didn't want it, but realized, you know what, that's not a good way to go. We all are welcome here. So I'd love to know what this is because it's got some new sprouts, but they're not yellow. So I don't know if that's light related, but we'll see. All right. So I've got one more plant that's hanging out in the bathroom, another queen. So I will see you in just a moment.